Okay, our next presentation is another short paper on visualizing social learning ties by type and topic, rationale and concept. Oh, I missed it. And concept demonstrated by Bieke. Thank you.
So, hello everybody. My name is Bieke Schreurs and I work for the Open University, and I'm really happy that I'm here today to present to you the results of the work which we have done on visualizing social learning ties. Actually, our work is really close to the work of the previous presenter, so I don't have to explain all the centrality measures anymore. Actually, I'm really pleased to be here because this place is actually a special place for me. This year, exactly 10 years ago, I graduated in political and social sciences, and even in this auditorium was like the ceremony of that graduation. So now you may ask, what is a political and social scientist doing here at the LAC conference? Well, I have to say it's the result of what we've been talking about during this conference. It's the result of some really good interdisciplinary collaboration. Well, first of all, after my studies, I went working in European projects on strategies on innovation and education, and I got really interested in the continuous professional development of teachers. And 2 years ago, I decided to do a PhD in that topic, and I moved to the Open University of the Netherlands, and there I've met my supervisor, Maarten de Laat, and he's really into network learning and social network analysis, and I really got like, whoa, this is it. So I started my PhD on that, and the main question of my PhD is how do teachers develop learning ties to solve work-related problems in the workplace? So my work is really not online, not at all. I really live in the schools, I talk to the teachers, I interview teachers. And in my first year we were wondering, like, how are we going to capture these interactions and these social learning ties that teachers are developing in the workplace. And we didn't want to do like a questionnaire or big interviews because teachers are really fed up with the questionnaire. So we developed a tool, it's called a network awareness tool, where teachers can fill in their reflections on their learning ties and how they are informally learning in the workplace, so that they really have like a direct reflection on what they're doing. So that the tool is for us to gather data, but also for them to be like a direct reflection, because we do really practice-based research, so we're really close to the schools and the teachers. Well, because I'm not a technical person, we hooked up with a really good person, an IT person, and he's really great in visualizations, etc. And he created a network awareness tool, which we presented last year in LAC, because we thought, well, it's a great tool. We tested it out with teachers. They know how to use it, how to reflect on it, but it would be like really cool if I didn't have to do like interviews, but that we could plug in the tool in an online system, and that we could also visualize all the online interactions that are going on in the system. And Simon Buckingham-Shum and Rebecca, they noticed this tool and they saw potential in it. And they said, well, it's a great idea. We have like an informal learning platform for researchers and teachers and learners at the UK OU called VisSocLearn. And maybe we can try to plug in NAT in this tool and see what happens. Okay, and that's what we did. I got an internship at the UK OU to get this done, and I'm really pleased that in the next LAC I'm here to present you the results. Now, I made a little side project in my PhD to get into the learning analytics field, and we were discussing this morning about this conference, and I have to say I'm really pleased that I'm here, because I got so much input, especially also on the visualization side, because I got to know the work of Professor Sudders and Hop, and they're like amazing in visualization, so it's a really good input and feedback for the work that we do. The tool that we are going to present, and also the network awareness tool, is really based on network learning theory, drawing on social network analysis and social capital theory, while network learning theory is really focusing on how people develop networks to support their own learning. So we're really looking at the social aspect of learning. We look at the diversity of social relationships that people develop, the strategies they use, and the value it creates for them for learning. Because we're doing visualizations and network structures, we are also looking at network theory, because they say that the structure of a network have really a big impact on the outcomes of organization performance. So we're wondering if it also has like an impact on the learning outcomes. What is also important is the interplay of the multiplexity of the different relationships that people develop. And we're also looking at the antecedents and consequences of the position of a person in a network. And I'm really pleased that the previous presenter did already work on that area to see if it had an influence. And last but not least, we're also looking at not only at the structure of these relationships, but also at the content. So people are always learning about something, and we're also wondering if the content has an influence on the network structure. So we're really focusing also on the resources that are flowing through these networks. So we created the Network Awareness plugin for VisSocLearn, and in which we try to visualize networks by identifying relationships between people who interact around the same learning topics. Well, the NAT plugin visualizes on different levels. First of all, we have like a theme cloud on the whole online platform system. I will show you so that you have like the overall network structure. Then you also have the network structure in itself, how people interact and develop relations. We also focus on the tie. We focus on the multiplexity of the tie. We will present 3 types of ties: friends ties, followers ties, and responding ties, because in network theory, Borgatti and Cross, they found that for seeking advice, people tend to go more to people they like or they are friends with than the real experts. So we thought that maybe in learning it's also interesting to see if there are like correlations between friendship relationships and corresponding and interacting relationships. And last but not least, we also have the possibility to view the ego network or the ego perspective per each individual learner. Okay, I took the challenge to do a live demo, so bear with me. It's always dangerous. Okay, it's up. But I don't know if it's like, oh, okay. I have to scroll a little bit because, yeah, it's blowing up. I don't know if somebody can do. Okay, so here you see in the middle, you see the big network of the whole VisSocLearn platform. On the left you see the navigation system, so the yellow ties are friend ties, the pink one are the follow ties, and the blue one are the response ties. And then on the left, you have like the team cloud and the tag cloud. We presented the content in the form of a tag cloud. So the more people are engaging around the same topic, the bigger the word gets. So if you are like in a learning platform or an online platform, you have like in one direct view what they're learning about, what are the topics in this area. In the VisSocLearn platform, for example, social learning is really big, psychology. It's also really interdisciplinary form, so we have also networks around history, informal learning, etc. So if you look at the big network, first you think like, oh, what do we see? But actually, even of the really big, you can see like, okay, we have some dropouts over here. We have some people really on the boundary of the tie, what's happening with them. We see that there's like a really popular person here who has a lot of friends and follower ties. And yeah, it's interesting to see that if you have like a really big degree and you're popular, that your grades are lower. But maybe it's because you're just like the popular student in the class and people are approaching you. And in the middle, you see like a lot of responding ties. But to get a better picture, I will go to a smaller network. for example, semantics. Semantic web. So of course, we use the avatars that are used in the VisSocLearn, but of course we anonymize the data to show it, but actually the real names are on there normally. So what we see here, for example, is that we have two really central persons. One is more in the friend zone and the one is really active in interacting. Now if you move from network level to, yeah, it's really annoying that I have to scroll all the time. You can replot the network. You see it moving here. So when you change perspectives in the navigation, you can also change the perspective of and replot the network so that you can see like, okay, around this topic, how is somebody evolving? For example, if you say, okay, I only want to see the friend or the respond network, you can click them out and also replot, and then you will get a different view on how persons are dealing around this topic. Are they more, who is central, who is important? Then I was talking about the content. You can also scroll over a person and you see like, okay, he's involved in this topic, but you can also see like what he's talking about more in detail if you go over that person, and also on the level of the tie. So you can see, okay, those two people are sharing tags and information and conversation around all these topics. And last but not least, if you say, oh, who's this person? She looks like really active in corresponding. How does her personal network look like? You can also click on her ego network and see how her ego network is. So you can look at individual users, you can look at a group, how it's going, you can see what they're talking about, you can see, yeah, you can see it on different levels and navigate through the system like that. Okay, to conclude. Well, we did already reflect with the teachers on the network awareness tool, but this is like a short paper, so we didn't have the time yet to really reflect with the learners how they approach this kind of visualization. But from our experience with the teachers, we think that from the ego perspective, the learner can really see their own learning network, and so that they start thinking about how am I working socially in this environment, how am I using my peers to get to the resources that I need, because more and more research in the educational sector is saying that it's really important for students that they develop the skills, that they know how to approach resources, and also that they know how to make networks to get tasks done. So this is a reflective tool that teachers can look for. How am I doing? What is my position in this group? What is my role, for example? But we also notice that it's not just something that you can send to teachers or students. You really need like guide them, because a lot of people just want to be like in the center so that they're popular, but you have like many roles and many important roles in the network. For example, somebody can be a broker between different topics. That's also really important. Or somebody can be like in the middle or between, and sometimes even when you're really in the center, it could be that you're blocking information because you get all the information and you're not sending it through. So you really need to reflect actively what this means for them, or give like a tutorial or maybe a guide how to reflect these visualizations. Now we also want to use the tool as some kind of browser, that if you're looking for somebody who's into history, or you want to reflect on your study in a different discipline, you can go and search the tool and click the tag cloud, and then you see all the people who are involved in that area. But what is nice is that you do not only see who's involved, but also who knows who, because we think that has happened that's how it happens in the real world. You're not like, oh, I need somebody who knows that. You're more like, who knows that. So you really go through your network, searching for people who know what you need. So this is what the tool does. So you can like search if this person has a connection with somebody you know, so that you can approach them more easily. But of course, you can also like immediately click on the person, see the profile, get an email address if needed. Educators can use a plugin to guide students in their development on how they work socially. And of course, they can also like use it as an innovation tool, how the group is working, how they're applying it. They can detect multiple networks. I didn't know if you saw it in the visualization because the screen was a little bit blown up, but you can also really easily detect clicks, isolates in the group, and things like that. And for us researchers, of course, the visualization is one thing, but you can also like get out all the data and do all kinds of statistics and looking at grades and things that the previous researcher did. Now, what is our future research going to be about? Well, of course, we want to see the learner's perception on how they can use the tool, and do they actually find more peers in the environment by using this tool? Do they really reflect on how they're learning? What do they need to get insights in these kinds of skill? What I'm interested in also is, does the content of the ties like influence the structure as a researcher? I would really like to look into that. What would be a really added value is that we would also have like a semantic analysis on the tag cloud, that we could also see the relationships not only between the people but also between the words. We want to do dynamic analysis to see the process over time, that we have some kind of squalor that you can see like how is the network evolving over time. And we are also thinking about, okay, we did a plugin now in VisSocLearn. Are there also other possibilities for the tool? We were thinking, oh, if there's like a conference like LAC and you have like many disciplinary people and you want to find people who are approaching your subject from a different focus, maybe this tool could also be like a nice to have and to look for people and to make more connections in this world. Thank you very much for your attention.
We're lucky because it's coming up with a break, so if people have got more extended questions, but if we've got time just for a couple of quick ones. Or if you don't know a question, maybe someone who you know you're sitting next to has a question. We can map that through. And we've got one up the back.
Thanks, speakers. It's nice to see this work evolving. I think from a network analysis research perspective, there are very interesting opportunities now that you might pursue. So it's more a comment, a suggestion than a question. But maybe you have already tried out the one or the other thing. For instance, looking for sub-communities, that's certainly something that would be very interesting here. But also, if you want to find different patterns, I mean, behavioral patterns, connection patterns in your community, there is this thing called block modeling. Have you heard of that? And have you any thoughts for the future, if you could use that?
Oh yes, definitely. But this tool is like for the teachers, so we want to, or for the users, so we don't want to make it too complicated. But for us researchers, yes, of course, the block modeling is really way to go to see if you have like type of learners in the environment. Yeah, we can do. I'm really getting into the social network analysis, so we just can like extract the data in an Excel sheet and put it in a DHL format and go in UCINet and do all that. Yeah, it's really interesting. And I mean, that's of course from the research. Yes, from the research per se. Yeah, I'm also really interested if we analyze the content and make like categorizations on the like, is it tacit knowledge or explicit knowledge, and does the network structure differ if it's different kind of knowledge that they're exchanging? Yeah, those are also the things that we're exploring. Thank you.
One last question. Oh, yep.
Well, thank you for a very interesting presentation. Now, university, you are trying to get a community of PhD students along that are all, well, they're all sitting on their own island, doing their own very specific research. Would you be able to use this tool to create communities? So your population are teachers, or becoming teachers, and well aware of network learning, but those are individuals. Do you think that this tool can help to build a community?
Oh yeah, we're using it in my institution also. So, but that people are, it's not related to an online community, but like I said, that I'm, as a PhD student, I say, okay, these are my interest fields, I have these sort of contacts inside the institution, outside the institution, and it's displayed so that my colleagues, they can just look at it and see it and connect with me and see what my connections are, and yeah. We use it that way, and it's free to use, so if you want.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll have one more round of applause. We do have another section coming up for another blind blowing instance, just thanks to Stephanie there for this morning. So stick around for analytic architecture after the break. Thank you very much.